Liverpool.
Well, now the time has come for the speculation to stop. I'm glad to say it looks as though the rain has stopped. And in a moment, one of the biggest roars, I would have thought, for a long, long time at Wembley, as 100,000 Scousers greet their heroes. And just look at the relaxed fashion in both those sides. There's so many smiles and hardly a tense face. And that's a part of Howard Kendall's strategy. He in fact told me this week that one of the things he wanted his players to do, not to feel overawed at this time, to give, as it were, the Muhammad Ali treatment to the opposition, to stare them out if necessary, but not in any case to feel that they should be overawed by this situation or by the quality of the opposition. Well, Graham Souness having a word with a Football League official, Joe Fagan there as well. Look at Bruce Grobbelaar, with him in your dressing room. Well, you don't need anybody else to keep the spirits up. The team's due to come out any moment now. The guest of honour here today, of course, is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Brian Clough, I've rarely seen sides looking quite so relaxed as this immediately before a cup final.
I think they're just putting on a wee bit of a show for us, Brian, at the moment. The tensest one looks to me like Joseph Fagan. Despite the fact he could win 3 things this season, he wants to get this one tucked under his belt badly.
And a welcome sight there, the arrival of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. It's an appalling day for her to come out to enjoy a Wembley scene. But I'm sure she and people right around the world will get full enjoyment from what should be a really memorable occasion. Craig Johnston in the middle of your picture there. And at last, this is really what the players want. To get on the move and to get out onto that rain-soaked pitch. The first ever all-Merseyside Cup final. The first final here on a Sunday. And a roar the like of which you've rarely heard before. Flags and the blue flags waving in unison there, which really should, as Brian was saying a bit earlier, be a message for football everywhere. Souness, and in front of him Joe Fagan, 63 years old in his first season as manager. And there's Howard Kendall, who at 35 years of age became Everton's youngest ever manager. He is now 37. And what a moment this is for him, because there were a lot of people that felt that his days were numbered at Goodison earlier this season when nothing at all was going right for them. But he and his chairman, Phil Carter, stuck it out. They stuck by each other. The result is here for all to see. Not only this, but of course they're also in the semi-finals of the FA Cup as well. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. In a coat, I think you call that mauve or purple, do you, Brian? But at least she's been well advised, because I've known guests of honour come out before in colours that favour one side or the other, which has not gone down all that well. But none of that today. And what a reception. first to the Everton players. And their captain, Kevin Ratcliffe, who this afternoon will be marking one of his closest chums in football, Ian Rush. Southall alongside him, Gary Stevens. Alan Irvin's in there as well, and young Derek Mountfield with a moustache. He's only 21 years old, but has added so much to the defence. Kevin Ratcliffe, who's got a plaster on a broken wrist there, as you spotted just a moment ago. Graham Sharp, big Scottish attacker. Harper, the substitute, a former Liverpool player, and another former Liverpool player, Kevin Sheeny. What moments there must be for those two young men now facing the side that let them go. Peter Reid, such a stalwart midfield player who's made such a difference over the last few months to Everton in their revival, and one of the biggest scousers of all, John Bailey. Half his family support Liverpool, half support Everton, and 46 of them, no less, have come down by coach from Merseyside today. Adrian Heath, the fair-haired lad, smallest man on the field at 5'6", and Howard Kendall, who has got this side together and got them playing well to the point that they've lost only 2 of their last 21 games, and they come here today not feeling that they're underdogs, but feeling that they really have a chance against surely the greatest side in Europe over the last decade. Captained, as usual, by Graham Souness. Michael Robinson, who is the substitute today, played here, of course, in the cup final last season for Brighton. Mark Lawrenson, also a former Brighton player. They've been here so often that Howard Kendall said, well, it's a bit of a handicap playing against Liverpool on their home ground. They've been through it so often, and their form is quite magnificent. Lost only 1 of their last 12, and when people may have felt that they had a bit of a wobble on, particularly when they lost at Southampton about 9 days or so ago, their answer was sharp enough. They went to Benfica and won 4-1. That was some wobble. Ian Rush, 35 goals this season. Craig Johnston. This has all the feelings already, Brian, doesn't it, of being something really quite exceptional this afternoon.
When you're looking close up at the Liverpool team there, they're formidable. A wealth of talent, 12 people on one side. And if you're not too careful, you can get frightened just looking at them.
You can certainly get frightened at times looking at this fella here, Kenny Dalglish, now fully restored to fitness after a terrible cheekbone injury, and Bruce Grobbelaar. And I think you probably feel for Joe Fagan as well today, don't you, as a manager yourself?
Well, he won't know exactly what he feels like at this present moment. There'll be a little bit of everything going through his mind and his tummy nerves, and he'll be glad when the match starts.
Alan Robinson is the referee from Hampshire, Waterlooville. There's 2 linesmen and the substitute referee, who is Joe Worrell from Warrington. 2 linesmen, Mr. R.J. Clements from Tunbridge and Mr. B. Saunders from Sutton in Ashfield. And if they play well as a team, then we've all got a good chance. And certainly Alan Robinson's reputation is as a referee who likes to keep a game moving. Back to the Royal Box now. But the delight on everybody's face just at the thought of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, here with them this afternoon. Well, those formalities are over. Here's the Everton side in goal. Neville Southall, Gary Stevens at number 2, John Bailey at 3, the captain Kevin Ratcliffe at 4, Derek Mountfield 5, Peter Reid 6, Alan Irvine. That was the late decision whether he should play or not, and Howard Kendall wasn't sure right up until the last 24 hours whether to play him or whether to play Andy King or whether to play Trevor Stephen. But number 7, Alan Irvine, number 8, Adrian Heath, 9, Graham Sharp, 10, Kevin Richardson. 11, Kevin Sheedy. And the substitute, Alan Harper. And what familiar names we have coming up here. Bruce Grobbelaar. Number 2, Phil Neal. 3, Alan Kennedy. 4, Mark Lawrenson. 5 is Ronnie Whelan. 6, Alan Hansen. 7, Kenny Dalglish. 8 is Sammy Lee. 9, Ian Rush. 10, Craig Johnston. And 11, their captain, Graham Souness, with the substitute, Michael Robinson. Kenny Dalglish, who in fact had that cheekbone injury. He fractured it way back in January. It's his first Milk Cup tie since then. And he just loves the Wembley occasion. Craig Johnston, 4 goals this season for a midfield player who does like to get forward quite a lot, and he hasn't scored indeed in the Milk Cup so far. And the inevitable Bruce Grobbelaar from Zimbabwe, who's played in the last 3 finals. I think a lot of people within the game now regarding Neville Southall as one of the leading goalkeepers in the First Division, a Welsh international. Just he and Ratcliffe are the only 2 Everton players who played at Wembley before. I remember Alan Robinson, in fact, if you remember the first live game, a league game on television, Nottingham Forest playing at Tottenham, and Alan refereed that day, and I think contributed largely to it being a really spectacular game. He does love to play the advantage, and that augurs well for the afternoon. Milk Cup that began in 1960-61, and to be honest with you, then the top teams didn't really care whether they entered or not. Suddenly it became a Wembley occasion, it became an opportunity to qualify for European competition, and the whole look of the competition changed. It's Mark Lawrenson. And Alan Irvine. Now, he's the lad from Queen's Park that Howard Kendall was worrying about for so long. He tends, they feel, to freeze on the big occasion. Seem that Everton might have won the toss and that they stay as they are. Confidence can play. I know you were saying, Brian, just a look at the Liverpool side is enough to frighten anybody, but confidence plays such a big part, and Everton, with this good run behind them, now begin to believe that they might be able to match Liverpool, and that's important on this one-off occasion.
Nobody's suggesting, obviously, that it won't be a tight, hard-fought game. We played Everton 2-3 weeks ago, Forest did, and we had to wait 89 minutes before we scored. So you were saying yourself they've only lost 2 in many, many games.
So it's Liverpool then who'll be kicking off. All red strip, Everton in blue shirts with white shorts. Liverpool attacking the goal to the right, the 1984 Milk Cup final. The first all-Merseyside Wembley occasion is underway. And Lawrenson gets it back for an immediate touch from the extrovert Bruce Grobbelaar. That's Hansen. Neal. Souness. Neal. Reid certainly made his presence felt early on. I think the points that Everton felt in that 3 weeks ago when they drew 1-1 against Liverpool at Goodison Park, they squeezed Liverpool as much as they could either side of the halfway line by pushing their back four forward, which they've done now. But you have to fear then for the speed of rush, but the ball carried through to Southall. And to play an offside, for example, against the likes of Rush would be a terribly dangerous thing to do. Kennedy's ball. Heath is down looking for a free kick which didn't come. Except there is a free kick now. The foul on Heath, the ball had gone on, and so Everton get the first free kick of the game. Sheedy finding Reed. It didn't go through, and in the end there was a slight miscalculation in that Liverpool defence. Grobbelaar slightly annoyed that there was that confusion just ahead of him. Kennedy away, a little fortuitously finding Sammy Lee. And now for Kennedy. Ball certainly moving very swiftly on this very wet surface, Brian.
If the pitch stays like this, it'll be absolutely perfect. I just hope it doesn't cut out.
Played in towards Sharp, but Heath, it was offside. Neil letting it come for Sammy Lee. Played on for Rush. Darting after this one, but Gary Stevens there, a good saving challenge. And I think the linesman suggesting there may have been an elbow by Rush, giving Everton another free kick. Suddenly Rush's speed was in evidence, but equally it was an excellent piece of defending by young Gary Stevens. Here's Rush in full flight, but here comes Stevens, number 2. Goal kick. Bailey. Sharp. There's 2 good balls he's won in the air, but Heath and Grobbelaar's missed it. And was that a handball? The referee looked towards the lineman, and Everton are claiming furiously that was a handball. And Heath came so close to giving Everton a surprise lead, and you saw the sign there from the referee, or the linesman rather, saying it came off his leg. And it looked a handball to me, Brian.
I think it just might have finished in the back of the net.
That was a handball.
From where I'm sitting, definitely.
But here come Everton again with Sheedy's shot, and it's wide.
I'm not saying it's intentional, but it did hit his hand.
Well, a critical moment, that one, as the corner is about to be taken. It was Grobbelaar who didn't get it, Heath who tried to get it, and it came off Hansen, and we feel it came off his hand. But as Brian said, it may not have been intentional.
But it would have been a goal.
But it would have been a goal. And the linesman, I think, indicated it hit the leg. Sharp's header. Souness getting it away. And Liverpool under a little bit of pressure then with 9 minutes gone. And the score 0-0. And a few little worried brows on that Liverpool bench. Lawrenson's header falls for Irvine. Richardson. Stevens. Leading again towards Heath, but there are taller men there. And a shot into the side netting again by Kevin Richardson that left very little room to spare. And Everton in these opening minutes are making the running. Caught on the volley, Grobbelaar diving, side netting, goal kick. Impressive start by Everton, Brian.
That was a brilliant effort. Absolute brilliant effort. I feel Liverpool are playing it so casual, it's bordering on the lethargic. And I'm just not quite sure what's going on in the minds at the moment. I know they're trying to be relaxed and casual, but I think they're just overdoing it.
Well, Everton will be snapping at them. And here's 21-year-old Derek Downfield to Gary Stevens, who in fact is 21 on Tuesday. So it's a young Everton side, but that was a good pass forward toward Sharp, who already is winning some useful balls in the air. And now the shot, again not a very powerful one that time by Adrian Heath. But again, Everton are carrying the battle to Liverpool. This will do good for Everton. Sheedy getting it in again, Sharp up there this time. and Richardson trying to get the shot in. Gary Stevens trying to get in as well, and it's not running for Liverpool, but now it is as it comes to Souness. A touch on for Johnston, and Bailey brings him down, and it's a free kick. I read in one newspaper this morning, one or two managers who'd beaten Liverpool, one or two of them said that you very often with Liverpool get a chance early on, and Everton have had those chances in this game today, Brian. But here are Liverpool. That's Souness with a shot, and Southall with the save now. And that might get them down to business. Strikes such a beautiful ball, and Southall well behind it. Sheedy's header. Well, Heath, he's onside. Has he got the legs? Irvine playing it in. This is Richardson finding Bailey. Still Everton game so far, but it's 0-0, and it's a goal kick. Dalglish towards Rush, played on towards Craig Johnston. Nicely into his stride. Here comes Southall again, and a goal kick. No, a corner given. That looked to come off Craig Johnston, but the referee was fairly close to it. Set a corner. Dalglish will take it. Rush, Johnston and Lee are in there, but not many people have come up from the back. Phil Neal's the only one. Whelan's now making a little run into the box. And Dalglish plays it wide here for Kennedy. Back again for Kenny Dalglish. Left foot cross there. And in the end, Richardson couldn't be sure what was around him. Decided that the safest thing would be to provide Liverpool with another corner. So, Rush looking for this to be the moment to make the breakthrough. But the ball comes out to Souness. In again for Johnston. Turned behind. And off Ratcliffe for another corner. Again, Rush and Johnston in there. Whelan and Dalglish. But Hansen and Lawrenson have stayed back. Lee with this one again. Comes to Souness. Oh, and there was a slack moment there involving Gary Stevens, in point of fact, that very nearly allowed Liverpool to get in. But it's another corner. Liverpool's 6th. Everton have had so far 2. So Mountfield's turn to look a little bit worried as Lee takes the corner. Ronnie Whelan with the header. And it was Mountfield who got it away. Liverpool's throw. Best spell of sustained pressure that Liverpool have had in the game so far. 0-0 with half an hour gone. Souness. Now Kennedy, left foot, driven well, but wide. Souness, Rush. Everton's throw. Taken quickly by Bailey, Sharp on his way. Heath waiting in the middle. Still with Sharp. And a shot that was curling awkwardly, and Heath almost got in.
Goalkeeper did remarkably well then.
The keeper. It was moving a bit, Brian.
Yes, that might have taken a deflection, and it certainly swerved. Did very well there.
So again, Everton nearly get a breakthrough, but not quite. It remains at 0-0, but Everton now get their 3rd corner of the game. And Irvine with it. Held in. Neal away. Sheedy playing it away for Irvine once more. Kennedy's come across to mark it. Room to get the cross in, but hits Souness. It's a throw to Liverpool. Sharp. Heath again. Reed is in there. Sharp is in there. Neal was happy to get it away almost anywhere to the full-back, in fact, Gary Stevens. And then he tried to run it through Whelan, and it falls for Lee, now for Ronnie Whelan, and here come Liverpool again. Johnston. Lee. Whelan's made a good break from the back, made a good contact, but sadly for him goes for John Bailey of Everton. Neil first to react to that one. Solis supporting. Lawrenson. Kennedy. Dalglish. Straight to Peter Reid. That's not a bad little run by him, but the pass left something to be desired, although they just kept it in, thanks to Graham Sharp. Sheedy. Look at this for confidence again. Reid. Then, oh, Sheedy. Sheedy now, with a chance to make it and fails. That was a golden opportunity for Everton. And Sheedy really should have made it count. Slight misunderstanding there again, Liverpool in that defence. Neil couldn't stop him, Sheedy looked up, didn't really clout it properly, and Grobbelaar was down. A real chance, Brian.
Yes, it was. I was staggered he didn't collect it and take it in a bit further, because Grobbelaar was on his line.
Now Souness. Again, the chances are falling Everton's way. It's 0-0, but here's Whelan right up there from Dalglish's pass, and another corner. Of the first half left. Here's Kennedy, and now Lee. Picked from a long way out. Johnston. Oh, very nearly came off Mountfield and could so easily have been an own goal. Instead, it's a corner.
This is the risk you run when you pack your penalty area. Any deflection's absolutely vital.
Kennedy over the top, and they didn't pick him up. So Liverpool, having been frightened by the chance that came Sheedy's way, come biting back. Richardson, good control and a good ball for Irvine, but nothing doing there. Mountfield underneath this one. And Mountfield again. Certainly the young Everton number 5, Derek Mountfield, since he came into the side, with the loss of Mark Higgins, who's been injured for a fair part of the season, he's done a really tremendous job alongside Kevin Ratcliffe, who's on the ball at the moment for Everton. It's Mountfield again. Used to stand on the Everton terraces as a boy. I bet he never dreamt he'd be playing for them at Wembley. Well, here's Sharp. Irvine. Stevens supporting him just behind the young fullback. Christian again there. Neil needing his skill to get behind that one and get it away. Reid finding Irvine again. Floated in once more. That time it's Hansen getting it away for Liverpool. Trying another direction now as Richardson plays it back to Stevens. And now for Mountfield. There's Bailey away and a lot of space on the left if Ratcliffe can get him up here. That's what he's aiming to do, but it will be Phil Neal's ball. Hansen. Kennedy. It's straight at Whelan. Challenged well by Stevens, but it falls for Kennedy again. Rush is there with a header and a good one, finding Dalglish. What a lovely touch by Dalglish for Ronnie Whelan. And it comes off Southall's legs, behind for the corner. That was vintage Liverpool. They looked for a while as though they were struggling. 2 or 3 excellent, well-timed passes, good skill, and the shot coming off the legs of Southall. Neil finding Kennedy. Now Dalglish. That's another corner.
First little skirmish we've seen now with Souness, inevitably Souness.
Dalglish with the corner. Played wide again. Souness hitting it, and a wicked deflection, I think, off Gary Stevens. And Southall, thinking the ball was going to go wide, suddenly had to make a save. It was Dalglish with that corner, hit there on the volley by Souness, and there was the deflection. Sheedy's header, and now Sharp collecting it. They'll come for Dalglish. Now Reith and a free kick. A foul on one, number 11 on another. Souness on Sheedy. Souness. Lee. Souness. Kennedy. It's Dalglish finding Johnston. Souness. Dalglish. Concentration wavered for a moment. The ball slid under his foot. Everton get possession once more. And it's with their skipper Kevin Ratcliffe. By Johnston on Richardson, a free kick to Everton. 4 minutes of the first half remaining. 0-0. Reid. Allowed to go a long way, and he'll go. Richardson got him bravely there where the boots were flying. Liverpool bring it away with Sammy Lee, just touched by Bailey, but it comes nonetheless for Dalglish. And Ratcliffe takes possession as Craig Johnston slips. Offside, not probably against Sheedy, but possibly against Sharp, who hadn't come back quickly enough. And now Neil. Dalglish. Lee. It's very slippery on this side. It always has been over the last few years. When you get a bit of rain, this side of the pitch is always difficult for the players. Heath battling away well there and beat off Souness, and that was something. And Souness, I think, might well get booked. And that little challenge with Adrian Heath.
Souness should have been booked early on. A few minutes ago, the referee missed it, and he caught young Richardson high up, and it could have been a serious injury. And the lad's walking there, young Richardson. You know, he's not very happy with himself.
Free kick then for Everton. About a minute to go to half-time. Ratcliffe with the kick. Coming towards half-time, Brian, would you just like to sum up the first 44 minutes at any rate?
Well, considering we haven't seen a goal, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a good match so far, and both sides could have scored. I think Everton have just had the edge on the number of chances they've created, and I think the last few minutes of Souness it's frustration with him because Liverpool are not playing that well.
Shot by, or at least a pass by Richardson, catching Heath offside. Souness. Comes off Sammy Lee, and Sheedy shakes him off. Still regretting his miss, no doubt, but that ball fell nicely for Sharp. And now Bailey. Played in there, and a good punch away by Grobbelaar, and it needed to be because Everton had about 3 or 4 players in there quickly on him. Neil not getting it away very well, but there was a foul on the Liverpool fullback. And at Hampden Park, Rangers have just taken the lead against Celtic with a penalty. I think Everton will go in at half-time feeling that maybe they should have had a penalty as well, with a handball by Hansen when Heath appeared to have a shot on target that looked as though it might be going into the net. With Grobbelaar out of position. A free kick for Liverpool now. Neil. Souness. There's Bailey up well at the expense of a throw. Putting time added on. Can Liverpool strike at this so psychological moment? Dalglish battling with Richardson, and Richardson gets the better of him. And it's going to be an Everton throw. The referee has looked at both linesmen, and both have signalled that the time is up at the end of the first half. The long ball forward, but they'll come back because the half-time whistle has gone in this all-Merseyside Wembley occasion. And the cup belongs. Well, it's Everton then who get us away at the start of the second half, attacking the goal to our right. Remember, they're the team in the white shorts, blue shirts, playing here on a Sunday, and in fact, appropriately, they began as a Sunday school team back in 1878. A throw to Liverpool, which Kenny Dalglish will take. Everton having beaten Chesterfield and Coventry in the very last minute, incidentally, of that game. West Ham, Oxford and Aston Villa to get here. Heath playing it in. A clumsy clearance there by Mark Lawrenson. And Craig Johnston just keeps it in for Kenny Dalglish, and again just keeps it in. Stevens now playing it in for Peter Reid. Kevin Richardson hitting it, and Sharp unable to control it. Liverpool getting here by way of Brentford, Fulham, Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday, and Little Walsall in that semi-final. Sammy Lee. A lot of local rivalry. There's the Everton bench in the second row. Andy Gray straining his neck to get a view of it. What a difference he's made to this Everton side, but of course ineligible for this game because he's already played in the League Cup, or the Milk Cup rather, for his previous club, the Wolves. Well, here's Rush. Picked up now by Souness. And Whelan caught offside. Irvin. Stevens. Long ball forward. Sharp in pursuit. Grobbelaar's ball, no problem. And for all the fury of a local derby, I think I'm right in saying neither trainer has been on so far in this game. Ronnie Moran of Liverpool and John Klinkard of Everton. Harry Stevens, Underneath this one again. Dalglish, Johnston, Mountfield just getting a touch to get it away, but Souness putting it back again. Here's Reed. Made in for Sharp. Back again for Stevens. And onside for Sheedy, but purely academic. The ball coming through nonetheless for Grobbelaar. Liverpool again looking as though they're going to take it calmly in their own time, Brian.
Oh yes, they can't change their style. They'll play it the way they want to play it and the way they play most of their matches.
Neil playing it in, it finds Rush. Souness, Dalglish. It's Radcliffe who got it away. Souness. Popping up everywhere at the start of the second half is Souness. Such an influential player for Liverpool, but now it's Kennedy. All the way, Kennedy! And just wide! And he scored here in '81 against West Ham. He got the first one last year against Manchester United. And it looked... the odds were shortening all the time that he would open the scoring here. Radcliffe stumbling, Southall diving, and the ball just going wide. Neil, Kennedy, Hansen, Dalglish. Rush didn't really get the touch. Dalglish went tumbling. The referee looked hard, decided there was nothing there, untoward, and Everton breathing again, come away with Peter Reid. Irvine. Stevens. Richardson. Lee getting it there as Dalglish got the face. Ooh, Southall right out of his goal. And Liverpool's throw. He looks a good keeper, Brian, doesn't he?
He's playing with a lot of confidence. Goalkeepers obviously need confidence as much as anybody else, if not more. And the run of success Everton's had in the last 3 or 4 months is showing now with him. He played well at our place. We could have beaten Everton 2 or 3 or 4 apart from him.
Kennedy. Ali McCoist has scored a second goal for Rangers. They now lead 2-0 against Celtic up at Hampden Park. Here it's 0-0 as Souness plants the ball forward again. Bailey with a header for Everton. Neil. Lee. Souness. Lee. Craig Johnston. Everton supporters rally behind their team again. That's the longest back pass of the day. Craig Johnston. Lawrenson. Kennedy. Whelan. Stopped that time by Mountfield. Hansen. Souness. Now the second half gone, and the ball at the feet of Kenny Dalglish. And now Rush. He's got Johnston up there with him. Can they hold on to Rush? Well, the shot fell against Radcliffe. And it's a goal kick. They've contained Rush pretty well, actually, haven't they, Brian?
Yes, Liverpool haven't been able to build up as quickly as they like to. Normally they build up very, very quickly, and consequently he's suffered. They've had to watch offside, mind you, and he's had to do a lot of running across the back four in preference to going directly to goal.
Lee played on again, onside. Craig Johnston, but again he just puts himself into overdrive, does Kevin Ratcliffe. It's notable too, isn't it, how quickly they get their back four forward, Everton. They're squeezing Liverpool up towards the halfway line.
Several times in the first half, there was 18 to 20 players in a 25-yard radius. Both sides are pushing up.
Neil. And now a break could be on for Everton. Sheedy playing an early ball in, but it didn't reach Heath. The header of Hansen. Souness again. Playing it to Hansen, surprised him a little bit, I think, that one, and Irvine was almost onto him. But here's Souness again in command for Liverpool. The ball for Whelan, and outside him is Kennedy. Dalglish encouraging him to go on, but how well Gary Stevens had stayed with Kennedy, and it'll be a Liverpool throw. And with a little less than half an hour of normal time to go, we have a Milk Cup final that really could go either way. 0-0. That looked to be out of play, and indeed it was. Adrian Heath, number 8. Hansen. Kane Ratcliffe there first. He's had a storming game at the back for Everton. Kennedy. There's Lee on the far side. Tempting Johnston to get forward, and a good jump by Bailey. It looked as though it might just nick over his head, but he was determined that it shouldn't. Lee now for Souness. And now for Neil. Here's Whelan. Neil again for Liverpool. And now Lee. Dalglish. Oh, and touched away by Southall. That might have just crept in at the far post. And the Welsh keeper from Everton just had to get that touch that mattered. Dalglish, having knocked it up, hit it on the volley. And there's the touch that puts it behind for the corner. So Liverpool's corner. Dalglish with it. Oh, Kennedy, and they haven't picked him up again. And my word, how did that stay out? Rush was 2 yards off the line. I don't think he knew a lot about it, but somehow it contrived to bounce in front of him. And agonisingly for him, look at that, over the crossbar. Brian, what can you do?
Instinctively, he just made contact, obviously.
Souness. Reed getting hard in on Souness there. Well, the chances have come at both ends, and we remain goalless. In about 17 minutes of the second half gone, 18. A couple of times, though, it was with Kennedy there, where Kennedy crept in from corners and simply wasn't picked up by Everton. They've slept a couple of times on that one.
Liverpool are masters at short corners, short free kicks, and sneaking up on people when you least expect it. It's a sign of a good side.
Certainly Southall would have known nothing of that rush attempt. Just thankful for the luck that went his way. Hansen up well for Liverpool. I get the impression that Liverpool have turned the wick up a little bit. And now can Everton match them? Well, it's Sheedy on the ball for them, and an offside against Adrian Heath. But again, the referee needs to be applauded for that, has kept the game moving. Lee for Liverpool. And again, the flag is up. This time, the free kick goes Everton's way. Outfield. Hansen above Sharp. Kennedy giving it to Reed. Irvine chasing. And a free kick given to Everton, I think, there. It looked to me shoulder to shoulder. Peter Reid telling Gary Stevens, hold on a minute, let me take it. And he finds Kevin Richardson. John Bailey on the far side for Everton. Oh. And Celtic now, I gather, have pulled one back at Hampden Park. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Lee beating Bailey, finding Johnston. Whelan has made the big run forward for Liverpool. And Kenny Dalglish just touching it through. Souness held at bay, though, by Mountfield. In a very important moment, that in the Everton defence. Whelan made a tremendous charge, him with the throw. Here's Kennedy. Phil Neal. Kennedy onto the right foot, no trouble for Southall. He's done a good attacking job for them, hasn't he, Kennedy, as the rain comes down again.
He got himself in a magnificent position with his right foot twice, and as everybody connected with football knows, it's not as good as his left.
Rush. Johnston. Got a spell this for Liverpool. Beginning to assert themselves now as Dalglish finds it taken off him by Derek Mountfield. Another throw for Liverpool. They're beginning to look a bit more like business at the moment, aren't they, Brian?
Yes, they're going forward with confidence and they're keeping the ball, and Everton's legs appear to have gone just at this present time.
Here's Lee. Really testing moments these for Everton. Souness. Lee teasing it forward again, hoping Dalglish could get on the end of it, but Ratcliffe was there once more. Bailey away for Everton. Good jump by Lawrenson, but caught a little bit off balance as Heath finds Sharp. Richardson trying to collect. Lawrenson getting it away well with great determination. Bailey returning it. Here's Souness. Dalglish, carted from behind. Foul on Kenny Dalglish, giving Liverpool the free kick. Halfway through the second half now. Johnston. Little touch for Dalglish. Another little touch for Ronnie Whelan. And Rush saved superbly by Southall. The flag was up on the far side. And the referee waving it on again. But you cannot take it away from Neville Southall. Played in there for Rush. Point-blank save. Brian?
Yeah, the goalkeeper didn't know Rush was offside. He didn't know the linesman was going to flag. And it was a magnificent save.
Whelan. Whelan again. Rush is on his way. Southall's coming out. Chested it down. Great presence of mind, and half volleys it away past the Everton bench down the Royal Tunnel. Back with Lawrenson, and now Hansen. Get the impression that Liverpool now are beginning to get the upper hand, but it stays at 0-0. Played in again for Johnston, and now for Kenny Dalglish, and again the flag is up. And again, Everton have caught them offside.
They're living dangerously, I know that, Everton back 4 are, because it's only a case of 2 or 3 feet. It's not a case of 5 or 10 yards, and people who play games like this do get caught on occasions.
Both subs warming up. Michael Robinson in the red tracksuit of Liverpool, Alan Harper of Everton. Whelan. Quick look round by Ratcliffe. Saw that Rush was there and then delayed it and allowed himself to be dispossessed as Dalglish finds Lee. Plenty of red shirts up now. Dalglish is first amongst them in the pouring rain and the quickening pitch. Just couldn't control it and get it back across the face of the goal for Rush. Here are Liverpool again. Souness, Whelan, Kennedy. Mountfield. So be Souness. Just kept in. And they keep the play and the rhythm going at the moment. They've found a good bit of rhythm, but that wasn't a good piece of play by Johnston. Sharp, stopped well by Lawrenson, played back by Kennedy. Lee. Whelan, Rush, Dalglish didn't get his head to it because Ratcliffe did. Sharp off chasing this one, but I think that's a throw. Indeed it is to Liverpool. Well, about 17 minutes left. Extra time on a very heavy pitch is beginning to loom. Ratcliffe's header for Everton. Heath. Johnston dispossessing Sheedy. Finds Sammy Lee. Neal bravely is going outside him. But Lee decides to take another route. Finds Dalglish. Now it'll come to Phil Neal. But he couldn't keep it in, and Everton get the throw. Just get the feeling now that this could be working towards a tremendous climax. Johnston, Dalglish. Bit of space here for Whelan, who's coming forward more and more in very dangerous positions. That's too far ahead of Kenny Dalglish. Looks as they might be making a substitution, Everton, because Alan Harper's coming on, and there's the number 11 number. Kevin Sheedy seems to be the one who is likely to go off. Heath. Reid. Just nicking it away from Rush. Again, Heath trying to make a break. And in fact, there was a foul on the number 8. Not spotted by the linesman, and to that extent Adrian Heath was having a word with him. It was given there by the referee. A free kick which Gary Stevens is now going to take for Everton. Sharp on the far side. Mountfield's come up as well. It's Sharp's header. It's Liverpool's goal kick. Irvin. What of an hour left now? Ratcliffe. Lee, touch wide for Phil Neal. A little flick in for Dalglish in a bit of space. Maybe enough for him to make a bit of mischief. Finds Alan Kennedy. Rifled it in amongst the press photographers. And a goal kick. Substitution now being made. Alan Harper comes on. A former Liverpool player. 3 weeks ago, he scored against Liverpool for Everton at Goodison Park that made it 1-1, and Kevin Sheedy, who was doubtful all week with a damaged ankle, goes off. Well, he's a fullback, Alan Harper, but he can play midfield, and that's where he's gone now, the right-hand side of midfield, just as he did at Goodison Park 3 weeks ago, when he finished off a very good move by Everton to score the equaliser past Bruce Grobbelaar. Free kick to Everton. They've weathered that little storm that came their way when Liverpool seemed to be getting so much the upper hand. 0-0 inside the last quarter of an hour. Bailey with the free kick now for Everton. Grobbelaar coming and getting the ball. Again, Ratcliffe. Oh, a little flick by Johnston, and he went to the substitute Harper. Richardson playing it to Bailey. Heath. Given away to Souness. Bailey again. Sharp. Coming off his man, Lawrenson, but Lawrenson was there when it mattered. Back again for Mark Lawrenson. Played forward again to the offside Ian Rush. Still playing that offside, and I suppose, Brian, the longer the game goes on, the more tired a player gets mentally and physically. That's when an offside tactic can really prove dangerous, and you can be in trouble. Hanson, well, that's a bit muddled as well. Heath finding Harper.
This is the first time they've had a kick for about quarter of an hour.
Well, here comes Craig Johnston. Here comes Dalglish. And Bailey just stretching out when it looked as though Dalglish might find Rush in a lot of space on that right-hand side. Very important interception there by Bailey. Reed. You can imagine if it goes to extra time, the thrills we're going to get then, Brian, as they get tired on this pitch.
Yes, Liverpool's last quarter now, 20 minutes, has coincided with Kenny Dalglish going in a central position, and he's had more of the ball than he previously had, and he's spraying it around all over the place.
But it's Everton who have possession now with the throw by John Bailey. Dalglish, there he is. A much more central position, as Brian says. Reed holding off all challengers. Stevens. Stevens looked as though he might get caught. Mountfield, though, taking it up again for Everton. Oh, gives a bad ball away to Lee, but Lee couldn't control it. Ratcliffe was in so quickly, finding Bailey for Everton, and here come Everton again now. Richardson. Stevens. Harper away on the right. There he is. Stevens again. And Souness away to Rush. As soon as Rush gets the ball, he either finds Ratcliffe at him, or as in that occasion, Mountfield at him. And Rush is getting few opportunities to show why he's on 35 goals this season. Behind you, shouted the Everton fans. Richardson heeded the warning. Dalglish was beaten. And here's Ratcliffe. 10 minutes to go. Bailey, 0-0. Floated towards Heath. Lawrenson up well. Johnston nicking it away well from Richardson. Beats off the challenge of Reed. Neal. Lee. Still nothing in this game. And nothing on the scoreline as Lawrenson comes surging forward again and finds Ian Rush for Liverpool. Now they've got to back off. Rush playing it towards Dalglish. Down he goes, no penalty. Southall collects. Breather then for Alan Kennedy, waiting for the ball to come back for him to take the free kick. Hansen. Souness. Lee. Chip in again. Again a good jump by Bailey. Irvin playing it into Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe in turn finding Harper, and there's a substitute for Sheedy. It's a good long ball, and Grobbelaar coming out, deciding he's going to run back with it. Oh, goodness, if you're a Liverpool fan, your heart must have been in your mouth for a moment. One little moment of clumsiness then, and that could have been the most embarrassing own goal ever at Wembley, I would have thought. But Grobbelaar was equal to it. Changed his mind, could have got caught on this treacherous pitch. Free kick to Liverpool. It's a brave man who puts his money one way or the other now, Brian.
Yeah. It only takes a second to score a goal.
Here's Lee. Heath. Harper's chasing with fresh legs, but Grobbelaar's out again first. What about that for a clearance? Ratcliffe there, Souness there. A touch for Johnston. And straight at Neville Southall. As the old writers used to say, end-to-end play ensued. And we've certainly got it, plenty of it at the moment, and now Sharp putting Irvin on his way. Sharp and Heath are waiting in the middle, and Grobbelaar too. Neil, what a good advertisement for the game this has been today. It's so much good attacking football, and remarkably still we await the first goal. Offside. Well, we have about 7 minutes of this Milk Cup tie to go, and we're facing extra time. And let me just tell you, if you're waiting for the extravaganza on Torvill and Dean from Ottawa last night, which follows the Milk Cup final, we shall still be showing you that after the Milk Cup final, extra time or not. So enjoy your football and then enjoy some really brilliant skating. Well, here's Souness. And a free kick. Peter Reid. Having the anxiety of the moment get the better of him. He's had a good battle in the middle of the field, actually, Reid, today. He's one of the unsung heroes. Oh, slipped by Kenny Dalglish. He's quite a character, this Peter Reid, isn't he, Brian? He's had the most terrible trouble with injuries over the years. In the last 5 years, a broken leg, a broken kneecap, severe knee ligaments, but he's a real batter in the middle of the field and used to be a Liverpool fan as well.
He's a good pro, and he's since he came to Everton, he's made the difference between them being a kicking side. I don't mean kicking their opponents, I mean kicking long balls, and now playing more short stuff and good football than they have done for years. And it's not coincidental that they've got themselves in a good, respectable position in the league, and a cup final here and a semi-final to come.
As you say, a lot of it down to him, because at last, thanks to an injury-free run, he's having a good run in the side. But here's Stevens, and here is Peter Reid, the number 6. Played in the game for Sharp, but Sharp's pass was a little optimistic. He's been here as a fan, Peter Reid, he's saying, but when he came here as a fan to watch a cup final, it was to watch and support Liverpool. Neil to Craig Johnston. Out of play, Everton's throw. It looks to me like extra time is coming. Brian says it only takes a second to score a goal. We've waited 85 minutes for the first one, though.
If it was Forest, you could have a bet we'd concede in the last few minutes.
Yes, you've done that once or twice, but in fairness, you've beat Everton in the last minute as well, as you've said, so
You have to watch them right to the last minute.
Well, what are Everton going to do? They've got themselves a corner inside the last 5 minutes now, 0-0. And they've pushed Derek Mountfield forward. Peter Reid and Alan Harper are just outside the box. If they could strike now, it would make life really difficult for Liverpool, but not with a corner like that. But Bailey playing it out again to Irvine, who's got another chance. A high up and under now. How will Grobbelaar react to this one with a good fist away that time? Stevens playing it back again. It comes off Whelan, and Dalglish with a chance for everybody to gather their thoughts a little bit maybe, but no, he's lost it to Irvine, but he's back at him again. And Everton get the throw. Fiercely and honourably contested this final from first to last. Bailey now with the throw for Everton. Well, Dalglish said thank you. Ratcliffe. Richardson. Now Reid. Heath. Back straight to Liverpool though. Bailey's header. Souness. What a game they've got at Hampden Park. They've had a 2-2 there at the moment as they go, and I think to the last minute of the game Celtic have drawn level with a penalty. And they're now playing extra time, in fact, at Hampden. Well, it's 0-0 here. Harper, a short ball to young Derek Mountfield. Over to John Bailey. Bailey played forward for Heath, and again he wins it in the air. Can Sharp get on his way now? Just wide! Grobbelaar was wrong-footed for a moment, and Heath, and I've said it before, is only 5'6", and he's won the ball again in the air there against Lawrenson. And Sharp couldn't quite tuck it home. Brian?
Goalkeeper didn't quite know where he was there. He hadn't got his bearings. It happened so quickly.
Dalglish. And Bailey just keeping it in play with Kevin Richardson now. Again that long ball forward. It's with Peter Reid for Everton. Irvine. Onside is Sharp. Here's Reid linking up with the attack now. And Phil Neal calmly can bring it away for Liverpool. Lee, the little ball for Johnston. Here's Souness. Sammy Lee. And we've played all but a minute of normal time now. And it remains 0-0. Free kick. Hansen. Mountfield. And Mountfield again. Touched there by Sharp. Now Lee. And another throw. Stevens playing it in again towards Heath. And another Everton throw. The last few seconds of normal time now. And another Everton throw. So we might get some real fun and games to round the whole afternoon off if we go to extra time. Well, let's see what happens. Stevens puts the ball in, and Irvine was very nearly there. Had he connected with that, I don't think Grobbelaar would have seen it. Neal away.
Not very often Neil gets caught flat-footed, but he was certainly caught flat-footed there. He got no idea the Everton player was coming in on his blind side, and it only needed to make contact.
And we go to extra time. 0-0. And the cup belongs to Liverpool. Oh, can Graham Souness get his men going in the same vein as they showed for much of the second half, when they looked for a time as though they might take over this final? Or will it be still the day for the underdogs from Everton to surprise everybody and redress a lot of the balance on Merseyside, with Liverpool having won so much over the last decade and Everton nothing? We shall see. There are 30 minutes of extra time, 15 minutes each way. Neil. Lee, the first touch for Robinson. So both the substitutes are on now, of course. Harper for Everton and Robinson for Liverpool. Rush. Robinson. Souness. It's a nice ball played with the outside of the boot to Ronnie Whelan, who didn't control it all that well, but still finds Alan Kennedy. Harper getting it back. It's Mountfield who got it away, not very far, only as far as Souness, the little chip coming in there. Kennedy's in there, Rush is right in there, Bailey is there, and just nicked it away for Everton, but I think might have been injured as he did so. No, he's okay, he's hobbling a little bit. Souness with Richardson trying to shove him off the ball. Kennedy again, trying to get it onto the left foot. In the end, it comes through for Southall. And you can see Bailey just in the corner of the picture there, hobbling a little bit. Lee. Neil. Oh, tremendous save, and Robinson almost got to it, but Rush hit a glorious shot there, and Southall made the save of the day. Tremendous shot and a brilliant save, and a corner for Liverpool to be taken by Sammy Lee. Mountfield's header, straight to Souness. Kennedy. And Bailey, I think, still feeling a little bit of an injury. A knock he got at the start of extra time, but he just put enough weight into it to get the ball away, and here's Sharp. Irvin. Hit it straight at Hansen. Bailey. Sharp. Free kick. Some save by Seville now. Let's get it right. Neville Southall, Brian.
Yes, it was a reaction save, point-blank shot, and Rush caught it beautifully, and it was worth a goal, actually. But stood the test of time, the young man did.
Right, let's see what Everton can do at the other end now as Bailey lines up the free kick. Robillard. Well, Richardson charged down. Reed over the top. Will we get a replay? Harper with the cross. Sharp nodding it back down. And can they put it in there? Oh my word! Phil Neal put his hand to his mouth because he realised how nearly he put the ball into his own net. And now Grobbelaar's made a mess of it, and so too has Irvin, when a sensible ball crossed in with the keeper out. Well, who knows what rewards that might have brought for Everton. Sharp played it down nicely there for Heath. Grobbelaar didn't know where he was, and in the end, Phil Neal just got it back to his goalkeeper.
If Sharp had have known Grobbelaar's position when the cross came over, it'd have gone for a goal.
But instead of playing it for Heath. 30 seconds of this first period of extra time still to be played, and we remain at 0-0. Mountfield back to Southall. 15 minutes. First period of extra time is up. The trainers and managers are not allowed onto the field. The Queen Mother seems to be enjoying it. Alongside her in the spectacles, the Everton chairman, Phil Carter. So it's a quick change around now, and 15 minutes to go, separating us from a replay at Main Road on Wednesday. They've suffered a bit on the bench today, I would think, Brian, and you know all about that.
It's not very easy sitting there when it's so much at stake.
Well, now Everton get us away, attacking the goal to our right, 0-0. Stevens. Whelan, Dalglish, came off Stevens. Liverpool's throw. And Whelan's off on his chase. But again, the blue shirts are equal to him, and then Reed gives it away. Whelan, but the flag is up. It won't count. Well, Everton would have been cursing themselves if it hadn't been for offside, because it was an absolute giveaway on their own penalty area. Of all people, by Peter Reed there. Dispossessed by Rush, played through to an offside Ronnie Whelan. The flag is up, the whistle had gone. Stevens again. Harper's gone wide. Played in once more. Will Ratcliffe get there? Oh, now is a great chance coming up for Liverpool. Rush is offside though. The flag is up for offside. It'll count for nothing. Great though the run of Kennedy's. The flag is up for offside. Way, way back. The anguish there of Kennedy, who I think genuinely felt that he was a goal scorer and a winner. Rush, who felt that it was okay, and I think it was only a yard or so inside the Everton half. But the flag went up instantly, and the goal is ruled out. Free kick being taken, 4 yards inside the Everton half. So 0-0 in extra time, the second period of extra time, 10 minutes remaining. Ratcliffe with the free kick for Everton. Phil Neal. Liverpool's throw. Ronnie Whelan with it. Souness. Hanson there first. Ratcliffe. Harper. Played in towards Kevin Richardson. Won it in the air again. And Grobbelaar saying that's mine. Souness. Lawrenson. He's gone past Richardson. Not a bad ball there for Robinson. Can he get his cross in? He can, but again, Ratcliffe is there. Sammy Lee's coming in quickly, but Reed got there first. Lee went tumbling, and Everton are striding forward again. Heath away on the far side. Now Heath, well, he looked to be limping, but he's pulled down there. No free kick. Neil took the ball, says referee Robinson. And we're heading, it seems, for a replay at Main Road. But as Brian says, it only takes a second to score a goal. Souness. Indeed. And here's Robinson. Oh, well stopped again that time by Bailey. What a good and important challenge that was.
Brilliant tackle, but his wrong foot as well. If he'd mistimed the tackle, he'd have given the penalty away.
Just a little touch that was enough. Heath finding Sharp, finding Reed, in turn finding Gary Stevens. That was Lawrenson's header. That's won by Whelan. Souness, commanding figure there again. Dalglish riding that challenge by Richardson, finding Sammy Lee. Here are Liverpool again, but Lee's being chased by Irvine, who did some good work there, tracking back for Everton. Bailey. And he stopped it going from behind for the goal kick, but it's a Liverpool throw. 2 minutes left. Bailey. Good jump again by Hansen. Harper, a little touch for Reed. Outfield. Bailey. Lawrenson. Dalglish. Offside against Robinson. The ball out of play in any case. The last minute of extra time. Rangers 3, Celtic 2 is the final score in Scotland. The Everton fans who are fairly jubilant at the moment. I think so many people expected Liverpool to win this game today. Unless they do it dramatically in the last seconds, Everton have held them well and in fact have made some really good chances themselves. In its way, a very honourable draw it might be for this first all-Merseyside final. Or are Liverpool yet going to have a say about it as Sammy Lee goes back there, but the little ball played back towards Robinson didn't look like reaching him, and Richardson was in to get it back safely to Southall. Back with Southall, we're now playing time added on at the end of those 15 minutes. Alan Robinson is looking at his watch, and the whistle has gone, and it's 0-0, and the teams will have to meet again at Main Road, Manchester on Wednesday evening. Always something of an anti-climax when a cup final finishes goalless, and it has to be replayed again. Southall, who made some remarkably good saves for Everton, and Everton, who certainly in the first half at any rate made the better chances, but defended well and resolutely throughout, particularly during a period in the second half when Liverpool looked as though they were going to get thoroughly on top. Craig Johnston goes off, thoroughly upset it would seem, unless he's carrying an injury, but Brian seemed to think not, as he goes off the field. A little upset with his Wembley appearance today when he was pulled off and substituted by Michael Robinson. The teams will go up, in fact, and be presented to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother. Andy Gray, who was ineligible for this game. On the right of the picture, the Everton striker, and the Everton players going up. Well, they've battled well today. A lot of credit to Everton today, Brian.
I think they will regard it as a moral victory. Their fans are certainly delighted, because they came with a little bit of apprehension in their hearts. They're taking on the mighty Liverpool side, European champions, league champions. So the fact that they've battled out 90 minutes plus extra time and still not conceded, and they will regard it as a brilliant result.
And nobody really played better for them than their captain, who gave a marvellous exhibition of defensive play.
Incredible match he's had. He's taken on the best striker in the country, and he kept him subdued for most of the game. And the other young centre-half played well also.
Derek Mountfield, yes indeed. Alan Harper goes through. John Bailey, who we saw, that's symbolic as well. He had a red Liverpool scarf and a blue one of Everton. Bailey, who made that marvellous challenge right at the end. And Liverpool, they've trodden this path so often. and probably will tread it many more times to come. In the light raincoat there, their chairman, John Smith, Kenny Dalglish, and Ronnie Whelan. And Howard Kendall. The first time ever the two managers have been up at the end of a Milk Cup final, also to get a word with the guest of honour. So don't forget, we've got Torvill and Dean yet to come. We've also got to get the views of Ian St John and Jimmy Greaves. And certainly it's been a marvellous Wembley occasion, and it's great to see both sides going off and such good comradeship on the field of play. The two goalkeepers there, Southall and Grobbelaar, who both in their own rights made some really spectacular saves to make sure that the game finished goalless. Right, let's get some more skating and some more views with the score at the end of this Milk Cup final: Everton 0, Liverpool 0.
So 120 minutes of football later, the two sides could not be separated. When you look back on the game, Phil, it was quite an even affair, really. Both sides had chances, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, the pitch was pretty awful, wasn't it? It was cutting up, and I mean, I didn't realise, actually. No, there was plenty of chances both ends. I think, you know, there's a few offsides there that weren't offside, really, when you analyse them. So, obviously, the referee will, like he does in the modern era, would have got criticised on the day.
A draw, though, would you say probably a fair result, and maybe the right result for the occasion when you look back on it?
Yeah, probably the big game at Wembley, and then a draw in the end. Although when you look at some of the chances we had, that Rushy missed, which is so unusual for Rushy, trying to chip a goalkeeper from 2 yards. But yeah, there's a couple of offsides that nearly showed, but they had a couple of chances as well. Jockey's handball, I don't think he meant it. But yeah, I suppose in the end, a draw, fair result, have a replay, see where we go.
What was the mood like on the terraces then, Gary? Was everybody, I suppose, disappointed that they hadn't won on the day, but satisfied that everyone could then travel back up to Merseyside, still as friends?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not a game that I've seen a lot of since I actually went, but then looking at the highlights to here, I'm amazed that we never won like 4, 5, 6-0 in the end. But yeah, I remember
you are biased though, aren't you?
Slightly, but I remember the back pass there and everyone screaming, "What are you doing?" And when Brucey sort of dropped the ball and went walkabout, and
was looking for me to clear it.
Rush's one that went over the bar, yeah, couldn't believe it. But yeah, good result on the day because it was a big occasion. It was a big Wembley final, and then it was a case of coming back.
So let's have another look back then at some of the key moments from the game, Phil. As a defender's point of view, first of all, Jockey Hansen, handball, never in a million years.
No, come off his knee.
Only touches his hand a little bit.
Yeah, it's only, yeah, look at that, look, you can't see it, so yeah, no, it's perfect.
Unfortunately, we have got the other angle as well, which perhaps, Ronnie, you talk us through why this isn't a penalty.
No, it's a penalty.
Oh, it's a penalty. Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
No,
yeah.
I was only joking. Yeah, it's definitely going in. Jockey tried to get it with his right leg and he missed it, and then his arm sort of just comes out and stops it going in. But it's funny, none of the Evertonians, except the fans, none of the Evertonian players went to the referee or the linesman. No. You just couldn't really see it. So the referee really had no choice. If he could see it, I don't know what side the linesman was on. Today, a linesman would have given that if he was on the right side and could see it. But yeah, I think it probably was a penalty.
I think it was Adrian Heath that robbed Brucey of the ball. He was a difficult little nippy player to keep with, wasn't he?
Well, like I said, they were getting the balance right, weren't they? They were going to become a good side in little over a year's time. So yeah, they were. I mean, obviously, kind of sharpy up front with a little fella, a little niggler, they were a good balanced team.
Yeah, caused you problems. Yeah. You know, as you said, one will play off the other. Sharpie will win his headers, and Adrian Heath got in and around people, and although he was only small, very good in the air, but knocked centre backs about as well.
That must have been a heart-in-mouth moment for you, though, Gary, when you see, Adrian Heath really looked like he had an open goal, didn't he? And then Jockey with the quick bit of volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that they won't let us forget. They're still going on about it 25 years later, yeah. And the more you look at it, the more you think, you know, why didn't they get 3 penalties for it? Yeah, but close.
Absolutely close. It's probably the most diplomatic way of putting it, isn't it?
You'd settle for a draw now, wouldn't you? You'd settle 4, 5, 6-0, yeah.
So let's have a look at your disallowed goal then, Ronnie, which you didn't really seem to make too much about at the time. It has to be said, he probably accepted it a little bit too much. Well, but it looks onside.
I just didn't... I haven't moaned about it. He's given. There's not an awful lot I can do. But once I didn't see Bales there. I mean,
Bales is coming out, isn't he?
Bales is still coming out, and he puts his hand up. But Neville, more or less,
You give up.
He sort of give up, but I let on to put it in and just stopped it and then put it in the next
there, can't you, in that shot?
Neville's just dived down basically out of the way. He's seen it, and then on this one again, he must see the linesman flag, because when you see him at the top of the screen now, and he's give up on this one as well, Neville.
Yeah, his hands up as AK puts it in. I mean, what is AK doing up there? I mean, we know we've had him up there in the past, but that's ridiculous in extra time, isn't it?
No, well, he's obviously a young man there, isn't he? You know what I mean? I mean, he's a young man supporting Rush and Dalglish, and he's going for it, really. He knows he's onside, and...
it's got to be onside, Rush.
Yeah,
as well,
he has, yeah.
Rush looks like he's in his own half there.
He is in his own half when Kenny plays the ball, but, you know, that was a decision. So the ref really had a nightmare in all the analysation of the full 120 minutes. I thought he had a stinker.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game, looking back at it now, 25 years later. Were the fans aware of something like that at the time, Gary? It almost seemed like fans just accepted the referee's decision a bit more back in 25 years. Yeah, I suppose the players as well.
And the players too.
Yeah, I think the Rushies one, not as much, but certainly Ronnie's at the time, we all celebrated that, thinking it was a goal, definitely.
Rushy will probably not look back on this particular game with too many fond memories, will he? A couple of misses.
Yeah, but the goals he scored on the way to the final.
Yeah, he scored in every round, to be fair, before this, but that one's,
yeah,
we won't want to see that again.
As Ronnie said, you know, he's tried to chip the keeper, he's come off his...
again, it did bobble, didn't it?
It did bobble, you know, kind of...
And we'll give credit to Nev there, Ronnie, I suppose. That's a smart save.
You know, with players like Rushy, you always forgave the misses because you knew he'd pop up at some stage and score for you.
And there's a good volley for him. That wasn't a shot, you know, I mean...
Neville, top goalkeeper in Europe at the time, magnificent goalkeeper. Neville kept Everton.
He was player of the year. He was player of the year the following year.
Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? They were evolving, weren't they? They were a damn good side. So
you just expected Rushy to score at some stage.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, very much so.
Unfortunately, on that day he couldn't.
And although Rushy, didn't score on the day, he wouldn't have faced two more sort of stern opposition than Derek Mountfield and Kevin Ratcliffe, who were a couple of great defenders, weren't they?
In those days, you were allowed to have one kick at the centre forward. So usually the first ball that come up to Rushy, although he was friends with Rats, with Wales and whatever, Rats usually went through the back of him and made sure Rushy knew he was there.
Yeah.
He'd get a booking or he wouldn't get a booking, as the case may be. But it was hard to play against him. Mountfield as well, big, strong, hard character at the back, would go and put his head anywhere. So for centre forwards in those days, it was very, very difficult because you could tackle from behind, and they certainly tackled Rushy from behind.
Yeah, we look back on it as a 0-0, Gary, and perhaps not the greatest of games. Were chances, though, for both sides, and there was incident throughout the match, wasn't there?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, looking back at it there, I mean, it's all coming back to me now, and I'm getting even more depressed, thinking why we never... That was a decent effort.
That's Sheeds, isn't it, taking a shot. I suppose that the issue here, Ronnie, is that neither side perhaps created that golden opportunity to really win the game.
It was even like here, Mountfield getting his body in the way of Rushy, and there was a few half chances, nothing really clear cut. A little bit of a deflection there made Bruce go the opposite way. I think we haven't got the back pass, have we? That's nearly just does Sheeds just at the right time.
Yeah.
It was a good tackle because
I've just clipped him there. I think he's going through to score here, which is obviously going to be the winner, because you feel as a player that whoever got the first goal was going to win this.
Yeah.
You know, I think both sets of fans felt that on the day. You must have done, Gary, actually. You know, if somebody goes ahead, then...
Especially with the chances building up and building up, and then you're thinking
Ronnie said,
one must go in now.
It was a nervy game, but there was more chances than I realised, you know, looking at it now.
And that's obviously one that Graham Sharp just pulls just wide of the post, I think. Let's have a look then at this incident with Bruce. What is Bruce doing here, Phil?
Well, he's come for the ball. I don't know where he is in his initial part, and it hits me. And
that's
now
a great back pass, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, I was saying, well, pick it up. He's not. And he can't. And now he's running as if to say, nearly, you should have supported me. But I thought I'll stay in the centre of the goal. You know, just boot it out, for Christ's sake. It's getting into the dying seconds of the game. Just lose it, will you?
A year earlier, he'd come out and taken out, was it Gordon McQueen?
Gordon McQueen against Man United, late on, and they all said he should have been sent off, but if you watch the slow motion, he does get a little bit on the ball, and I think that's why the referee only booked him in that game. But he was liable to do that, Bruce, now and again. The Sheffield Wednesday, he tried to take Imre Varadi on the left full-back position, and he took it off him and knocked her into the cup goal for 1-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, but I think that the saves made up for all the silly things that he did.
0-0 then. A joint lap of honour, which again seemed a sort of fitting thing at the time for the first all-Merseyside final.
Yeah, a relief to both sets of players and fans. I think we were at ease. Like I said, I just felt there was a party mood. Although we got to play in another 4 days' time, there was still kind of, thank goodness, you know, nobody's going home from the famous Wembley a winner this time. We'd obviously experienced that before. You know, Everton, it was another day, another dollar, and we were going to face them again. But we had a good party going home, you know, before we, you know, got back to the serious business of trying to win 3 trophies for Joe Fagan again. Can
you remember how that came about, though, the joint lap of honour, Ronnie? I mean, you say the players got on quite well. I suppose it was just one of those things that evolved at the time, wasn't it?
I can't really remember it. I think it was
through the picture. You know, they suggested the picture, and I think then there was only a natural thing where we all went round together.
You both sets of supporters, didn't you?
Yeah,
I think that was just one of those things that they just sort of mingled together and then just walked around together.
And Gary, was that when Merseyside first started being chanted, or was that through the game as well?
It was through the game, because there was the song was "We're the Pride of Merseyside," and everyone sing their own the team name, but obviously both sets of supporters singing "We're the Pride of Merseyside" at the same time, you know, gave it that extra resonance. But I think from a fan's point of view, it just seemed to happen naturally. It was 0-0 at the end of the game, and we've more or less half expected them both to go around together, and I think it was quite fitting for the final itself.
OK, well, let's see what the views were from the Red Camp immediately after the game. Here's the post-match scenes from the Liverpool dressing room.
Rushy, you normally put them in. I missed it altogether. Missed it. Someone behind me as well.
Seems pretty relaxed in there, Ronnie.
Roy Evans was saying, you know, how do you usually put them away and things like that. Yeah, it was very relaxed, and there seemed to be only 2 players in the dressing room.
Was that typical? Was it a fairly relaxed dressing room to be in, the Liverpool one?
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't lost, had we? You know, it was a vital kind of final, first Merseyside final, and you were in it, and you think, oh, thank goodness, you know. So I think that is probably why there was a subdued. Thank goodness, you know, neither side has lost. We're certainly, you know, we've got another bite at the cherry, and we were just going to be prepared to have a party on the way home and have a bit of a chill factor, and then attack them on the Wednesday.
I think the dressing room was usually like that. If you felt you've played well, you may have done enough to win the game, and if Joe and Ronnie and them were happy enough with it, it was usually like that. But I don't think if we had lost the game, you would have seen any cameras in that dressing room.
No.
And it wouldn't have been like that whatsoever, with people shouting and screaming, and Suey and Kenny and him, and everybody having a go and where it went wrong. I think it was that may be that we felt we've done all right on the day.
You remember the emotions leaving the ground yourself, Gary, going away from Wembley, because there's obviously stories of, I mean, it was a wet day, wasn't it, down at Wembley that day? There were stories of people sort of random street parties breaking out around Wembley and the atmosphere being fantastic.
Well, we found the car. We found the car in the car park. It was the first time we'd been there, and then in the car, and we found it. It took hours to get out, and I remember just looking out, you know, so you're like 15, 16, looking out and just seeing everyone, and even then thinking, you know, this is a great occasion. And I probably made a mental note at the time not to forget it, but obviously have done as time's gone on. But then we drove back in the car, and for the it took us
25 years.
It took us hours and hours and hours to get home, because the car that my cousin's brother-in-law had, he'd bought off another uncle, and that kept overeating on the way back. And because I was the youngest, they had me, and we were driving around Wolverhampton, and I ended up knocking on doors asking people for jugs of water to put in the car. And so that's why we ended up going by coach to the replay, because the car was kaput. The car was completely conked out. Yeah.
Late for school then on the Monday?
Yeah, we were, late for school then. But everyone had blurry, and because you saw people from school as well who'd managed to go there. Yeah, it was great.
OK, well, with honours even, both sets of fans were able to travel home fairly happy after a long weekend. You could say, though, the coach journeys back to Merseyside were a little more sedate.
What brought it home to me there was at the end, when they were all only with a junior lap of honour, both teams together, and they just give it that one, Merseyside. That was it. That was number one.
I was stuck above, what, 20,000, 30,000 Evertonians. Still had me red and white hats on my skirt.
I never got a belt once.
Everyone was cuddling me, all the Evertonians.
Yeah, because you had the ciggies.
I know, yeah.
You stayed pretty quiet through the game, though.
I'm like that in the game anyway. I like watching the game and taking it in.
You haven't got much to say, have you, when you're...
I was saving it, actually. I was saving it.
When you watch
in your mind most of the game?
Oh, the end. That was the toast. That Merseyside. As I've stated before, that was the ultimate that. I think that let every fan in the country know that we were there.
Like, something that epitomised it for me was like when we were coming outside, I saw a lad, an Evertonian, and a girl who was a Liverpoolian, like, and they're walking along together hand in hand, you know. Obviously boyfriend and girlfriend, and one's an Evertonian, one's a Liverpoolian, they've come down to see the match together.
I know it's been a weekend out, but like back to normal for me again is just the old doldrums of looking for work again, trying to find a job, which is the hardest thing in the world. Up in Merseyside in Liverpool, very hard.
You've been looking forward to this game, and now it's gone. I mean, how do you feel now?
Save at the moment.
That's right. Memories.
I hope she's videoed it at all.
Something to tell the kids.
So the fans home reasonably happy. 3 days later, the sides would do battle again, this time at Main Road in the replay. We'll be looking back on that game after the break when we return on Cup Kings 84.
And the cup belongs to Liverpool.
Welcome back to the final part of Cup Kings as we remember the Milk Cup final of 1984. We've just seen how Liverpool and Everton fought out a goalless draw at Wembley. That meant a replay at Manchester City's Main Road 3 nights later. Liverpool kept the same starting lineup as the one that played beneath the Twin Towers. Everton made just one change, Alan Harper replacing the injured Kevin Sheedy.
And good evening to you from Main Road. The second episode of the Milk Cup final between Everton and Liverpool. The packed stadium here, 52,000 hoping for a repeat of the sparkling game that we saw at Wembley on Sunday. A nice little ricochet, very welcome there for Everton, and Heath finding Sharp and keeps it in play. Coming towards Harper, will he get it on the volley? No, he plays it back. And it comes for Reed, and a good save by Grobbelaar. The first real save of the day, or the night rather, by a goalkeeper, and it's Bruce Grobbelaar saving from Peter Reed and doing well. Harper, a nice little touch back in there. Stevens miscuing. Reed on the turn, and that would have just crept in. Little dummy by Johnston, gets it back from Rush. It'll come maybe for Dalglish, just nicking it away from Richardson. Souness spreading it for Neil. Played on again for Johnston. Here's Dalglish. Neil in for Souness. And a goal! Souness for Liverpool. A great shot out of nothing there by the Liverpool captain. Neil plays it in, Souness catching it, beating the dive of Southall, and Liverpool into the lead. Brian?
It was a brilliant taken goal, and it took the Everton goalkeeper completely by surprise.
And it's quickly taken. It's with Gary Stevens. How can Heath get on that? Well, it was Reed in the end who put it across the face of that Liverpool goal. And one or two Everton players holding their head in their hands. They felt, as indeed it was a golden opportunity for an equaliser, Brian.
They got in each other's way. Reed was wanting Heath to get out of the way, and the other way about also. Eventually Heath did jump out of the way, but it was a wee bit too late. Every time he's had to come out in this match so far, he's caught absolutely beautifully.
And what a good break here by Liverpool. Rush is on the way. Will it be number 2? No, stopped by Southall. They were played onside by a defender on this side of the field, and two of them, Dalglish and Rush, were suddenly clear of the rest of the field. Well, they always say goalkeepers have to be, I think they call it leg conscious. And
spread himself well, but a striker of this lad's quality should have put that away quite easily. There's no such thing as an easy chance, but if there's going to be one, that was it.
Sharp, Reed, can they yet do it? Sharp again, Stevens with a chance to play it in. It's over, and Liverpool have won the Milk Cup of 1984, the first ever final between these all Merseyside rivals, and that's how it finishes. Graham Souness's goal in the first half is the one that keeps the sides apart, and what about that for a jig of joy and a victory for Liverpool, for Joe Fagan, and dejection there for John Bailey and Everton, who battled so hard for so long. But really, in these two games at Wembley and here at Main Road, where Everton really, this new side, has come of age, even though it's finished in defeat against this marvellously impressive Liverpool side again. Merseyside jubilation, and not much respite there for Graham Souness. Everton certainly had their moments all the time that Graham Sharp was winning the ball in the air and Rush could be subdued at the other end. But an astonishing goal by Graham Souness is really what has won the day. Let's go to Elton Wellesby on the touchline.
Graham, Graham, what do you feel? Obviously delighted. I hope they all behave themselves. I mean, it's been a great 2 games. There hasn't been much in it. We just deserved to win, I think, but there hasn't been much in it.
Tell us about your goal.
Well, it's one of them. Well done, Graham. You hit them and you hope they go in.
Here it is now.
I miscontrolled it. I miscontrolled.
Decide to hit that ball.
I came on my left, I'm good with my left. No. Normally I wouldn't shoot on my left, I would try to pass it. It was going away from me, so I played on it.
You were well in command at the end, but they gave you a mighty battle, didn't they?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they're great supporters as well.
Yes.
I just hope they all go home happy. I mean, as I said, there hasn't been much in it. And I hope everyone gets home safely, and we're all delighted.
Graham, thanks very much indeed.
Liverpool are winners.
And get a word with Bruce Grobbelaar, if we can see you. Bruce, a magnificent night.
Well, it was for all the boys and for the whole of Merseyside, really.
And you had a great game yourself, very clean pair of hands.
Clean pair of hands, that's what we wanted the whole night. We didn't want any fumbles and any stupidity, and there was nothing there today.
Right, we've got Craig Johnston. Craig, how does this trophy compare to some of the others?
Oh, it's the best, that's the best I think I've ever won, especially in this city, So pleased for the fans, because it's been a whole month of build-up and that, and it's the best moment of my life ever.
And Kevin Ratcliffe, what a tremendous couple of games he and his Everton defenders have had. The losing medals being presented by the Vice-Chairman of the Dairy Council, Michael Balderstone. Adrian Heath, who promised so much, particularly in the early times when he was combining so well with Graham Sharp. Neville Southall, magnificent at Wembley on Sunday, but was beaten by that Souness goal. And Alan Irvin, who came off, having been substituted by Andy Quinn. Graham Souness, the old familiar routine, a shake of the hands with his chairman John Smith. That old familiar scene, Liverpool raise the trophy yet again. And the man who's got it is the man who scored the goal that mattered, that won the cup for Liverpool. A fine goal by Graham Souness in the first half, after some good teamwork right through that Liverpool side, give reason for Liverpool to celebrate yet again.
So Liverpool victorious, 1-0, Milk Cup winners again, Gary. What do you remember about the whole occasion, travelling to the ground? Again, you say you were at the game, obviously.
Yeah, as I say, we didn't go in the car this time because the car was knackered. We ended up getting a coach. Just me and my cousin went this time, and we went. And again, obviously there was nowhere near as many, and it was a lot easier for us to get tickets for this, we found. And again, it was all standing. It was the old main road, and we were along I remember going to the ground, and it was, it was dark. I think that was a bit of a wet night as well, I think. going down the side of the entries to get into the ground, going in, feeling the buzz and the excitement. And all I can remember from the game is the kick-off, the end of it, and soon as his goal, and then smacking you in the face when you ran away.
You did get a bit of a whack, didn't you, when he scored?
I did get a bit of a whack, all right. I was just going to celebrate with him and he forearm smashed me right in the mouth. I remember that most about that day. But it was hectic before that cup final because it was 3 days later. And we had to try and find the people to give tickets to again. And you're getting phone calls every day leading up to it.
Because we had half the amount of tickets, 52,000.
Yeah, but I think the players equally had as many as they had at Wembley, but even more so. I think we had more. If we wanted them, there was more available to us on that replay. And like you said, get rid of your tickets, because if you had, around the dressing room and you were about to kick off, and somebody wants to. Have you got so-and-so's tickets? If Bob heard that, or if Joe heard that, he'd go absolutely ape.
Yeah, that was usually a bit of a nightmare when somebody, like half an hour before the game, comes knocking on the door and says, "You haven't left me tickets," and you're about to play in a final of a final of a League Cup. But yeah, it was just a nightmare leading up to that because it was only 3 days to the game.
What would have happened between the two finals? Would you have been back in training, or was it just rest?
We were back Monday. We'd have been back in Monday, probably for a soak and whatever. But we've still got games to complete. The European Cup was still going on. Don't forget that. And so we were back in training and got our gear together. And I thought our skipper, Graham Souness, on the replay night was really I thought he was the big player on that particular night. I know he scored the goal and I helped him knock it in to his run that he had, and a great goal to finish it off. But I thought he was really top drawer that night.
Was it difficult for you, Gary, going back to school again? I suppose the banter must have been flying around for a few days, but it was almost a week of Liverpool versus Everton, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was more relief than anything, really, the goal going in. At the time, I remember thinking, don't go to 0-0, don't go to extra time again, and all like this, because it just took too long, and it was draining that entire week, but for all the right reasons, and obviously even more so because we won in the end.
Were you pleased with your performance on the night, Ronnie? Can you remember too much about it?
Can't remember too much about it. In finals as well, you weren't too bothered at the end of it. Okay, you'd be a little bit upset if you didn't play too well, but if you've won a final, it's quickly forgotten, isn't it? And it's like, you've got your medal. I don't care really how bad I played. But I think it was a bit like that then. Yeah, just glad to win that one. After the anticlimax of the final, as what I said, it was good to win the game in the end.
Great finish by Suey as well, wasn't it, from a fair way out, Phil?
Yeah, he went through. It's unusual, really. He was making a surge forward, and it was unbelievable. He just turned and see you later. Left foot as well, which was an unusual strike.
You, Ron.
Yeah, there's the strike. Yeah.
Well, so you played the ball into it,
I played him into it.
He miscontrols it.
He miscontrols it, sets it up. Flicks it up. But his left foot, which wasn't his strongest side, Ronnie, was it? So, he took a gamble, swiveled, pivoted, see you later, and it's won the cup for the fourth time, that League Cup, kind of 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we were just delighted.
I'm guessing that Suey's not the sort of person to apologise if he gives you a smack in the mouth either.
No,
he wouldn't apologise for that.
He probably would have said, "Why did you run after me? Just leave me alone, I scored." No, he didn't apologise. Still hasn't apologised.
It was a good strike though, wasn't it?
It was a great strike. As I said, he miscontrolled it and it did bounce nicely for him. He still had to put it away, and he struck a good volley in the bottom corner. Great.
Was the atmosphere just as tense? Do you remember much about Main Road that night, Gary?
I thought the atmosphere was more like a football occasion for the replay than for the Wembley final, for the first game. It was a night game as well. It was a bit wet, a bit windy, and everyone seemed to be up for it more. It was more like a football game rather than the.
I think we all knew it was going to end.
Yeah.
There was some conclusion, and I think it had a cutting edge.
I thought.
Other than the nervous thing at Wembley, as Ronnie described, I think there was like a cutting edge. Look, are we going to be boss of the city? And both teams wanted to be boss of the city.
Yeah.
Well ahead, of course, in the league title race at that stage, but still, as you say, with work to do in the European Cup. Many celebrations after a win in a Milk Cup final?
Yeah, we're going...
Celebrating anyway. We lost them.
We lose or draw.
Yeah, we were in the bar afterwards or whatever it was, and you got lifts home or whatever. It was carry on regardless, really, and bring another cup final on, and the last 12 games of the season, or 10 games, whatever it was that was left.
Yeah, we would have enjoyed the night. We would have had a good few drinks on the Wednesday, but then start again Thursday. We would have been probably in for a bath on Thursday morning, getting ready for the game Saturday, and it'd be forgotten on the Thursday morning. Well done, you've got your medal, now we get on with winning the league and the European Cup. Can you have any sympathy for Everton? I mean, it took a special goal to beat Never Southall. Did you speak to...
Do you expect us to say?
No, that's a stupid question.
But did you speak to Sheeds afterwards?
No. I didn't speak to. I only spoke to us, our players.
No, I swapped my shirt with John Bailey, so I know what I did after this. I just said to Ronnie, "You just swap your shirt," because Ronnie Moran wouldn't let us swap shirts for ages, would he?
Yeah, you usually had to use them till the end of the season. You never know. You'd be wearing John Bailey shorts on the Saturday.
Well, we had these special shirts done for it, and he agreed. You know, there was 2 available, so we
I don't
were
think
allowed.
I swapped mine. I think I've still got mine.
What about Joe's reaction to that first trophy under his leadership, of course?
Never had any reactions from them.
No.
You've done it now. I think that was how they kept us on the ground all the time. Not on the ground,
feet
on the ground. But it's like, well done, congratulations, you've done great. Now you've got to go Saturday.
They'd probably get home from that win and go in the boot room and have a sly whiskey or whatever and discuss who's done well, whatever, before Joe's goes about the following week's, you know, mapping out the preparations, for the next game.
Probably more that way. They would sit down in the boot room, as Millie said, and they'd talk about how the game went, who played well, should he play Saturday, is he tired? Not the case of, we won the cup. It's just a game for them at the time.
All the sweaty gear would be kind of, and Ronnie and say, well, OK, we've sorted the kit out and let's go and have a sit in the boot room. And with Roy and Tom Saunders, whoever was there, they'd have a little natter after that and analyse the game as anyone would.
Can you remember much after the game? Was it just straight home? I guess school the next morning for you.
Yeah, we got back to the coach, found that most of the windows had been put in on the coach. You know, that's one of the blessings of having a replay in Manchester, I suppose, at the time. We come back, everyone was, all the Liverpool fans were all buzzing, everyone was all made up, and then into school the next day, and then it was,
bragging rights for you,
like that, and then everyone pretending to, smack your best mate in the face as you scored the winner. And then it was a case of, seriously, it was a case then of looking at what game we were going to win the league at then, and we ended up winning it at Notts County in 0-0, one of the worst games I've ever seen. But you'd won the league.
Was that 2-3 from home, was that?
That was what, 2-3 games to go, Yeah,
it was Notts County, wasn't it, that it clinched the league. I suppose everything really just about went to plan that season, didn't it?
It was lovely, really. It was like a combination of senior pros, the youngsters had joined us, that had 2 or 3 years getting used to the play. They were becoming senior players as well. So everything was like swimming, and like I said, we were evolving too. I said Everton, they were certainly in that period as well, but we were certainly kind of in that period too, and it was wonderful to give Joe a fantastic send-off to his first season, because as Ronnie said, he was wondering, he only took the job basically to keep the staff together. I don't think, like Ronnie said in the first place, he didn't really fancy the manager's job. He didn't really like dealing with the press.
Like Bob when he took it as well, wasn't it? Bob didn't really want the job, but was so successful, and then Joe in the end took it. First season he wins 3 trophies. He was a very, very good manager.
It must have felt though that Milk Cup was really just the first little step on the way to what would eventually obviously be a hugely successful season, but that was really just step one, wasn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. It was a case of let's get this one under our belts first, and then we can go on and try and win the bigger two. As Neely said earlier on the programme, it got us into Europe in March, so now you can push on hopefully till the end of the season and win the European Cup, win the league, which will put you in the European Cup. It was a stepping stone, and fortunately we went on and won a couple more trophies.
And looking back on the occasion, just finally, Gary, how proud are you of the first All Merseyside final, firstly at Wembley, and then the occasion, or both occasions as a whole?
Well, obviously you're pleased that you've won a trophy, and then that the season then carried on and you won a lot more trophies. But looking back on that first final now, especially the state that the city was in then, the way it was portrayed in the rest of the country, it was a great occasion. And as some of the fellas said there on the coach, it was something that they could tell the kids, something they could be proud of. And then a bit poignant as well, the guy saying, well, now it's just back to the normal routine of trying to look for work. But it was a great occasion just to remind everyone that we were still here, and we were still this, this city that everyone liked to despise. And they did despise us up in the northwest of England, that wouldn't say no, and that carried on. And we were the best at what we did, which was at the time was conquering Europe with our football.
Do you think any other city could have done that quite like Liverpool?
No, I don't think so. No, we just had 2 big teams as well. I mean, a London team, no, Manchester, I don't think so. But the state that the city was in at the time as well, like 6, 7 out of 10 people out of work, and then all going down for the day out, just, I've got no money, but we're going to go to Wembley and have a great time. It was a great occasion.
Certainly was. The gloom of mass unemployment may have taken a vice-like grip on Merseyside back in March 1984, but twice in the space of 4 days on the terraces of Wembley and Main Road, red and blue came together as one in the name of Mersey pride And this friendly final has since passed into football folklore. At the end of the day, though, winning trophies is what it's all about, and putting one over on our nearest and perhaps dearest rivals made this particular triumph one to cherish even more for all those of a red persuasion in the city. My huge thanks go to Phil, to Ronnie and to Gary for sharing their memories with us today. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Until next time on Cup Kings, it's bye from us.
And you won't take a cathedral, we got what to spend.